Howdy everybody, how are you today? So we're up here at the sand plant in North Texas again this morning. Going to be getting our Powerscreen ready to transport to our next project. Thought I'd take a little video of the process, share it with all of you out there, and follow along, and let's get to it. Alright folks, here we are. It's the Powerscreen Chieftain 1400S tracked unit, and what we've got to do today, we've got to get this thing ready to transport to our next project. So we're going to get it started up here in a minute. What we're going to do is we've got to fold that outrigger and that conveyor and that conveyor in, and then we've got to take the front conveyor down, bring the screen down, fold the front conveyor up, get the legs up, and then we're going to walk it out of here. It's about a half a mile from where it's at in the plant to where we need to go with it to get it on the truck. So bear with me here and try to get some footage along the way. Alright, so on the what I like to call the left side of the machine, and we call it such because when we load this unit on the trailer, we always put the grizzly box to the front of the trailer. And if you're familiar with the truck world, anything that you talk about on a vehicle is as you are sitting in the driver's seat. So this is what I call the left side of the machine, and here we have a control access panel. So this is where you're going to have all your hydraulic control valves. Starting here on the left side, you've got the outrigger controls. As you can tell there, those control those two legs there, the stability legs at the front of the machine. This lever here controls your main conveyor that brings it from the feed box up to the shaker. Then your next levers, you're going to have the lever here. This one turns on your feed control right there. This lever turns on the main conveyor that brings it up to the shaker. This lever turns on your shaker as well as your feed conveyor off the front. And then this lever here, it's the one that controls your exterior conveyors on both your right and left sides for your oversized, your medium oversized. And then you'll notice there's some flow control valves here. Right below those levers. Each one of those control valves control a different function, right? So this control valve controls the flow of your feed off your hopper. This valve controls the conveyor on the right side of the machine, and this one controls the the conveyor on the left side of the machine. So basically what you do is, depending on the material you're running, you would adjust the speeds to get the appropriate amount screened, so you're not overfilling the screen, you're not underfilling the screen. And then these two are made to where you can underspeed or overspeed your conveyor, for the amount of material that's going on it, so that way you can prolong the life of your conveyor belts by running slower speeds. You're also prolonging the life of your hydraulic motors and all the components really. So we like to keep those running as slow as needed, just to move the material off without just throwing it. So a little information there. So I'm here at the front of the machine. That's your feed conveyor there, right? And before we got started, I wanted to point these out real quick. Pretty important pins. So I've got a pin here on each side. That's the main pin that holds the shaker up. And then on the inside arms here, you've got the pins on both sides right there, and on that side that hold the conveyor up. So when we get ready to lower those down, we're going to pull a little hydraulic pressure off of the pins, pull the pins, and that way we can let those components down a little bit easier. Way we can do a little screen inspection here shortly. I always like to inspect my screens every day before we operate, but especially before we transport to a new job. That way, if I find anything through this brief walkthrough, I can then reroute the machine to the shop for repair, or have parts ordered and coming to meet me at my next job. And that way, when we show up at our next job, we're prepared and ready to go instead of waiting around on parts. All right, so like I was saying, over here on the control panel, you've got the key for the ignition switch here. This is your throttle set. There's a low, intermediate, and high setting, and this just controls the various lights that are going to be around. This is your information display. Displays all the information on the unit, your hours, your engine RPMs, your power settings, your fuel consumption per hour, a whole host of information that's very useful. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and start it. So basically on this unit, we're going to turn the key one switch to the right, which is going to activate that fuel pump there. So you can see that that light came on, telling us glow plugs are coming on. Once that goes off, we can go ahead and start it. So on this machine, what you're going to hear whenever I turn it, the ignition switch to run, you're going to hear an audible alarm that sounds for roughly 5 seconds. That's to let anyone know that it might be around the machine, that you're in the process of starting the machine, and to back off. And sometimes it's good to yell all clear, kind of like in the aviation world before you start an airplane, all clear. So all clear. I've already done a walk around too, so it's good to do a walk around, yell all clear, and we're going to go ahead and turn it on. Now you hear that audible alarm, and then 5 seconds goes by and the machine will start up. See there the engine information that we're given. Alright, so we've got the machine running, and we need to get this main conveyor down. So what we're going to do is, on each side of the machine, this is the left side of the machine, there's a valve bank. This has 3 valves on this side, the other side has 2 valves. And so what these valves do, so the valve on the right here, it controls the pivot of the main conveyor. That pivots up, the end of it here, it pivots up for transport. The middle valve handle there controls the height. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump up the control there to get the pressure off the pins, remove the pins, and then I'll bring the valve down to bring the conveyor down so we can do a screen inspection. And then the valve on the left there, it controls your left outrigger conveyor, and we'll bring it down and put it into transport mode, which basically this thing just sweeps down and then it will land right there. There's a pocket right behind the grizzly box that this thing lands on and stows. Same thing for the other side. So if we go along to the right side of the machine here, we're going to have the same setup, right? You got your ladder there, gets up on your catwalk system, goes around the machine. So right here behind this ladder, see, like I said, this side's got 2 valves, and basically the left valve on this side, it controls your shaker height, and then the right valve is the one that controls your right side outrigger conveyor, and that's what's going to stow that. So we'll go along here and get these pins pulled and get the main conveyor down. We'll shut it off to do our inspection. I don't ever do an inspection with a unit running. Always pull the key as well, and then kill at least one of the emergency stops. So it's a pretty good rule of thumb to have, you know, kind of a lockout tagout method. That way, if anybody comes along behind you, tries to start it and you're up in there, you know, could cause catastrophic failure to you or the machine or both, and loss of life, injuries, not acceptable at all. So we like to be safety first. All right, so I've killed the machine, pulling the key out, putting that in my pocket, and then I'm pushing that in. That's one of the master disconnect kill switches. And then we'll walk around here to the front, or the back actually. And as you can see, I've got the conveyor on the ground. And So what we'll do is we'll just walk up the conveyor here, take a look at the screen. As you can tell, the screen media, it doesn't like wet material. It tends to get clogged up in there. Kind of looks like piano wire, really. So, you know, this screen is 5 foot wide, 10 foot long on the bottom. Top screen, 5 foot wide, 11 foot long. So, yeah, I'm gonna finish doing my inspection here, clean up some of the excess, and I'll check back with you. All right, so earlier I disconnected or I pushed in the kill switch. So what we're gonna do, these are a twist to unlock kill switch. I'm gonna turn it clockwise, and as it'll pop out there, which means we're safe and live. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put the key in, turn it on. We'll wait for our glow plug light to go out. It's out. All clear. I'm the only one out here, so I know we're clear. So go ahead and turn it. Audible alarm, 5 seconds. She fires right up. We're gonna come around here real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and raise this main conveyor up and put the pins back in it, get it ready for our walk. So as you can tell right here, you watch, you can kind of get that conveyor where it lines up with the pinholes. And what we'll do is we'll walk around. Never walk under a conveyor. Walk around unless it's locked out. But always play safe, right? Walk around. You know, hydraulic line fails or something like that. You gotta call your significant other and let them know that you're not making it home today. It's just not a good deal. So always walk around. Put your safety pins in place. Safety devices. It's always good. So we're gonna put this pin in, and I'll check back with you shortly. All right, so I've checked the screen. The screen looks great. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and move this machine up the road, about a half-mile walk on the tracks. Even though it does have tracks, you still gotta walk with it. Unfortunately, you know, there's nowhere to ride on it, which is, it's okay. I could use the exercise. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna walk it up there and get her ready. All right, so got the conveyor stowed on both sides and we are ready to go. So the way you drive this thing is via this remote here. We're gonna pull off this excess cord. Plugs into the informational port there. So the emergency shut-off button there always stays towards you. Right button, hear the audible alarm. Right button turns on the remote functions. The top two buttons drive it that way. The bottom two buttons there drive it towards us. And then that's your on-off. So let's give it a go here and see what happens. All right, so just goes to show, like I said, I'm not a professional. Forgot to put it in drive mode, so I'll show you that right now. Okay, so to get this thing into drive mode, you've got these two center valves, right? You've got 4 valves. The two in the center, you're gonna push them down. And now we're in drive mode. Go ahead and turn the throttle to high. Now we're ready to go. Okay, so back at the remote here, we're going to turn it on, give it a few seconds. Everything on this thing has a delay for safety purposes, so now we're going to drive this thing out of here. And the functions on the remote are similar to that of a zero-turn lawnmower, or a skid loader, or skid steer, or track loader, excavator, bulldozer. You know, anything with track operation, zero turnability. That's how they work. So listen, I'm gonna hop off here. I'm getting onto the mine road, which is gonna require a little bit of paying attention to the safety and stuff like that. So we'll check back with you. All right, so we've finished our walk. We've got the machine staged and ready for pickup on transport. And so what I've done a couple of things. I've went ahead and got this conveyor, the main conveyor, pins pulled and ready to come down. I've also brought the screener box up to pull it off of these stop blocks. The stop blocks are held on with an R pin, and then the sleeve here. We'll let that all the way down. Stick that, secure it at the bottom, right? And we're gonna walk around to the other side. Remember, conveyor's not locked out, so we walk all the way around it. Safety first, never under it. Alrighty, so pull the R pin, pull the pin, block slides down. Put the R pin back in for safety. All right, now we're ready to bring the main conveyor down to the middle. Alrighty, and then we're gonna go to the other side. And we'll bring down the screener box. We're gonna bring down the screener box now. So the screener box is this left valve. We'll bring it down. Alrighty, now what we're gonna do is stow the catwalks. Hey guys, alright, so we got this thing all buttoned up, ready for transport. You can see we got our outrigger conveyors in. They're secured. Got our catwalks pushed in and secured. It's kind of hard to show that on video. It takes 3 hands and I've only got 2 and I'm by myself, but you can see there's a pin there, and that's just a pull out. Same thing here, pin here, and it pulls out. The actual platform folds in, folds down. This folds in and folds down to bridge the gap to the front. The only thing the operator's gonna have to do when he comes to pick this up is fold this conveyor up. We leave that down, and then we strap it to the machine just to relieve the tension on the hydraulic ram when it's setting. Same thing on this side. So you got the bridge here, it just folds up, and then this catwalk folds up and pushes in, pin there, and then a pin there. And then the ladder just folds up and stows there. We'll put a strap around that before we transport it. But all in all, got her done. Took a little bit of time, but you know, when you're transporting something this big, it's 53 foot long. When it's ready for transport, You want to make sure that you do it right. Get it all sucked in. We also will throw straps around each one of the conveyors to keep those snug against the machine. But that's all I got for you right now. Check back later.